Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in. Today, we're diving into something incredibly important: Medicare open enrollment for 2026. This might sound routine, but this year's enrollment period is shaping up to be super important. Really critical. Why? Because even though the headlines might make everything sound stable, there are some hidden changes coming that could seriously impact both your wallet and your healthcare coverage. For instance, we're hearing that average premiums are expected to drop, but at the same time, Part B costs are climbing, and some insurance companies are even pulling their plans out of certain areas. If you're not paying close attention this year, you could easily end up paying more for less care without even realizing it. So yes, this year really matters. By the end of this video, you'll see exactly why reviewing your plan carefully could save you a ton of money and stress in 2026. But before we get into the details, let me ask you something. Have you ever gone through open enrollment and just stuck with the same plan because it felt easier? Or maybe you felt totally overwhelmed by all the options? Go ahead and drop your experience in the comments below. Your story could really help someone else navigate this. So, for a quick refresher, what is open enrollment? Every year, from October 15th to December 7th, you get one major opportunity to make changes to your Medicare coverage. During this window, you can switch from original Medicare to a Medicare Advantage plan, or vice versa. You can add or drop your Part D prescription drug coverage. Or you can move to a completely different plan that fits your needs better. Any changes you make will take effect on January 1st, 2026. But here's the kicker. Most people don't actually take advantage of this. Studies show that only about 6 to 13% of beneficiaries switch plans each year. That means the vast majority are sticking with their current coverage, even though plans change behind the scenes every single year. And that's exactly where people get caught off guard, because what worked for you last year might not be the best choice this year. Let's talk about what's staying the same versus what's changing. On paper, the Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services, or CMS, says things look pretty stable. They're projecting that average Medicare Advantage premiums will drop from about $16.40 to just $14 a month. Part D premiums are also expected to fall a bit, from around $38 to $34.50. That sounds like great news, right? But remember, averages don't tell the whole story. Your specific plan could still raise deductibles, shift your medications to different drug tiers, or even drop your doctor or local hospital from its network. A lower monthly premium won't do you much good if your out-of-pocket costs skyrocket somewhere else. Now, let's look at some of the key rule changes for 2026. First, there are new protections for hospital admissions. Once a hospital stay is approved, it generally has to stand, which means fewer surprise bills from retroactive denials. The Prescription Payment Plan, which launched in 2025, is here to stay. This lets you spread your prescription costs into monthly payments instead of paying a huge lump sum at the pharmacy. The enrollment form is also getting a little simpler, with some optional demographic questions being removed. And finally, provider directories are getting an upgrade. Medicare Advantage plans now have to share their provider lists with CMS, which should make the Medicare Plan Finder tool much more accurate. But it's not all good news. While some premiums are going down, other costs are climbing. The Part B premium is projected to jump from $185 to about $206.50 a month. That's more than an 11% increase. The Part B deductible is also rising, from $257 to $288. For higher income earners, the IRMAA surcharges are also increasing. And for Part D, the out-of-pocket cap is rising slightly to $2,100, and the maximum deductible is climbing to $615. On top of that, some insurers are pulling back. The total number of Medicare Advantage plans will shrink slightly. If your plan happens to be one that's exiting your area, you'll need to act fast. So, what does all this mean for you? The single biggest mistake you can make is doing nothing. That's why your annual notice of change, which arrives every September, is the most important piece of mail you'll get. Most people just toss it aside, but inside are all the details that directly affect you: changes to drug tiers, network shifts, deductibles, and co-pays. Here's your game plan. Read that notice carefully and highlight what matters to you. Then make a must-have list: your doctors, your hospitals, and your prescriptions. Use that list to compare plans on the Medicare Plan Finder when it updates in October, and please don't wait until the last week. The deadline is December 7th, and call centers get swamped at the end. If you need help, remember that state health insurance assistance programs, or SHIPs, offer free, unbiased counseling. Let me share a quick story. One retiree I know almost missed some major changes last year. She'd been in the same plan for years and barely glanced at her notice, but she eventually saw that her main hospital was being dropped and her blood pressure medication was moving to a higher, more expensive tier. By acting in time, she switched to a plan that kept her doctors and saved her hundreds of dollars. If she hadn't checked, she would have been stuck. Stories like hers are more common than you think. So, to wrap this up, open enrollment for 2026 looks stable on the surface, but underneath, there are shifts that could seriously affect your coverage and your costs. Don't assume last year's plan is still your best fit. Read your notice, compare your options, and get help if you need it. Let me ask you one last thing. What is the most confusing part of open enrollment for you? Is it the drug coverage, the provider networks, or just all the paperwork? Share your thoughts in the comments. Your insight might help someone else going through the same thing. And if this breakdown was helpful, make sure to subscribe so you're ready for all our future updates. Thanks for watching.